investment in IT and OT systems, scalability of systems as per company needs, and real-time data accessible anytime and accompanied by 24/7 support. Among these developments, we can find services like Microsoft Office 365, conferencing tools like Zoom, or this one we are using today that is WebEx, and file sharing tools like Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, just to mention some. But more interesting, most of us are already using these services in our personal life. For example, payment applications like PayPal or Paytm, and streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime. Unquestionably, digitization leveraged to greater connectivity and information at the right time. But with greater connectivity, we can also face cybersecurity vulnerabilities if we don't manage it properly. So in this point, I would like to invite Mr. Andre Shori to develop more about what do we mean with cybersecurity, its challenges, and how Schneider Electric is taking care about them. So Andre, I let the floor to you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Louis. Can you hear me okay?
Sure.
Fantastic. Good. As mentioned earlier, I'm the Regional Chief Information Security Officer for Schneider Electric. So my team and I are accountable for the internal cybersecurity maturity and posture throughout the APAC region, including India. So we strive to ensure that all our customers are safe and secure whenever you are connected to our network or when you have entrusted us as custodians of your data. So well, cybersecurity itself is commonly associated with the electronic defense of our servers, our mobile phones, our networks, and our computers from cyber attack. But to be more precise, cybersecurity is the art and science of protecting data from damage or unauthorized access to ensure its confidentiality, its integrity, and its availability. Now, this data can include such things as your personally identifiable information, a company's trade secrets, copyrighted or patented intellectual property, military or government top secret information, and so on. Also, cybersecurity includes not only the electronic protection of data, but also the physical protection of the data. Now, we apply this approach in our extended digital ecosystem through people, processes, and technologies. We ensure that all our employees are cyber aware through cybersecurity awareness campaigns and mandatory trainings. Has the ability to help detect potential cyber threats within our own environment or at your site, at the customer site. At Schneider, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. We also ensure that all our business processes include cybersecurity as a core component. And of course, we deploy cybersecurity technology to add the right security layers and controls to secure our environment. At Schneider, we invest heavily in cybersecurity. And the reason why this is necessary should be pretty obvious to all of us on this call. The bad guys are constantly evolving and getting smarter, and they're making money while doing it. Today's extortionists and kidnappers prefer to hold your data hostage versus holding you in a dark room somewhere. The number of new malicious programs being created every day is estimated at more than 300,000 new programs every 24 hours. Now, these efforts by the bad guys will continue to pay off if we do not take protecting our infrastructure and all our data very seriously. Honda learned this firsthand when attackers took their plants all month. It was each day their factory stood idle. Cognizant similarly took a big hit when they came under a ransomware attack earlier this year. And even though the attack was repelled relatively fast, there was still impact to customers and operations when Cognizant found themselves having to check very, very carefully on the extent of the damage. Current estimates of the attack have cost Cognizant between 3 to 5 billion rupees, or about 40 to 60 million euros. So it's easy to imagine the attack or the incident as a company having been negligent in defending itself. trust is immediately impacted, and both your customers and investors will add to the cost of cleaning up the attack with a corresponding drop in your revenue and share price. So at Schneider, our cybersecurity approach is structured around the NIST cybersecurity framework. So the NIST cybersecurity framework itself, it provides a policy framework of IT security guidance on how private organizations that own, operate, or supply critical infrastructure, such as Schneider, can assess and improve our ability to prevent, detect, and respond to cyber attacks by establishing basic processes and essential controls for cybersecurity. So in Schneider, we've structured our cybersecurity approach along this framework, and we continuously assess the impact of our capabilities on each dimension of the NIST cybersecurity framework. In addition, of course, by using a common framework, this allows us all to use a common terminology and speak the same language when it comes to cybersecurity throughout our organization. So NIST itself, and just going very quickly because I'm sure many of you are familiar with NIST, but for those that aren't, NIST comprises 5 distinct stages, right? So the first stage is identify, where we identify our business risks, we determine threats that exploit vulnerabilities or the kind of attack vectors that attackers may exploit. We define and apply common policies here, and of course, we strive to comply to international standards. Then we protect, and we do this by designing and implementing a layered defense program to keep the badness out. We develop capabilities here, especially our technologies, processes, and people, as mentioned earlier. We also strive to mitigate our vulnerabilities here. We deploy cybersecurity controls and mechanisms, and we also operate a global security operations center. We then detect and respond through our deployment of hundreds of thousands of sensors to continually monitor our environment. We respond to any alerts and anomalies through a mature incident process. And then we contain, eradicate, and recover from incidents, which is the next stage in NIST. And most importantly, at this stage, we also make sure that we learn from each incident and we use those lessons to improve our processes, to close gaps, and continually improve, hence the circular nature of the framework. Finally, we also use digital metrics to help us keep focus on our true north through things like continuous vulnerability assessments, security ratings, and regular internal assessments. And how we apply this approach in our extended digital system, as I mentioned earlier, is through people, processes, and technologies. So from the people side, we make sure that we ensure all our employees are cyber aware through cybersecurity awareness campaigns and trainings. And to go a little bit deeper here, we've also identified some populations that are within Schneider that are more at risk than the rest. And one of these is a customer-facing population, which represents about more than 15,000 of my colleagues today. And these teams are those that are in direct contact with you as a customer and your critical installations. So we've put a cybersecurity program in place to help secure this population. So we've introduced a cyber badge certification, which will attest that each employee visiting your site has the right knowledge, behavior, and equipment to ensure the safest intervention. The cyber badge program itself is granted, or the certification is granted on 3 criteria. The first being the ability to use a company secured laptop that complies with all our security policies. Secondly, the employee has to be able to demonstrate having completed our internal cybersecurity for Schneider Electric training, and to have also completed an additional cybersecurity for customer-facing training. Employees will have to be compliant with the certification or they will not be allowed to visit a customer. We also ensure that all our business processes include cybersecurity as a core component. And of course, we deploy cybersecurity technology to add the right security layers to help secure our environment. So our IT cybersecurity practices continually ensure that our cloud-based offers are resilient, dependable, and available. We accomplish this by paying special attention to asset management, how we manage privileged account access, and resiliency and reliability aspects such as backups, restorations, disaster recovery, and business continuity. We also ensure that the connections between our customers and the cloud are also secure, again, using appropriate levels of encryption to protect data while in transit. And of course, we protect the data at rest due to the nature of the shared environment that the cloud is, striving always to make absolutely sure that information is only accessible by authorized parties. We also apply, of course, a layered defense program at Schneider, which we build around our risk register. So we use our risk register to help identify the areas that must be protected and the risks that need to be covered. We secure our internal infrastructure. We secure our operational technology environments, such as our smart factories and global supply chain. And as mentioned earlier, we secure our customer-facing populations like our field service engineers and our remote customer support experts. And we accomplish all this by, again, making sure that all our activities are secure. We identify and protect all our assets. We work with the business to help them continue to address their needs within that secure cybersecurity framework. And finally, we ensure that we are ready for the next wave by natively including strong cybersecurity in all our products, applications, and offers. All right, great. I hope I was able to answer your question, Louis.
Yeah. So it's very well answered. So thanks a lot, Andrew, for sharing your knowledge and bringing context about cybersecurity and how Schneider Electric, of course, is securing its operation. Certainly, cybersecurity is an important aspect that companies should take care of these days. Having the right technology, process, and most important, people aware of cybersecurity implications. So it was very well highlighted by you, Andrew. Thanks for that. In our following section, I would like to invite Mr. Antonio Alvarez to brief about how Schneider Electric secures remote monitoring services that are part of our EcoStruxure asset advisors, from the products connected at the customer side up to the analytics services we provide as a cloud service. So, Antonio, can you tell us how can we make remote monitoring secure and reliable?
Sure, Luis. EcoStruxure Asset Advisor is a suite of cloud-based services that transform data from your equipment into actionable insights and help manage and maintain equipment health through its cloud-enabled predictive analytics and expertise. EcoStruxure Asset Advisor is one of Schneider Electric digital offers. Schneider Electric considers an offer digital when it leverages data from physical assets over its lifecycle through a remote connection with the digital infrastructure of Schneider Electric. Schneider Electric established policies and procedures to ensure that our digital offers have the right security posture. Schneider Electric digital offer certification process is used by Schneider Electric to check, test, validate, and certify that digital offer meet those policies and procedures. EcoStruxure Asset Advisor offers a highly secure and single interface to monitor customer assets. User access to a Schneider Electric dashboard is controlled by a Schneider Electric Customer Information Access Management System. Connected products, edge devices, and cloud applications are developed according to Schneider Electric Secure Development Lifecycle process, which is officially certified against IEC 6244 standard to provide end-to-end cybersecurity, EcoStruxure Asset Advisor customer dashboard, and intuitive and easy to use to ensure that our customers can get a clear update of their asset health with a quick view to our application. We will use EcoStruxure Asset Advisor Predictive Digital Offer with the COMEX Gateway to illustrate the means implemented both in the lifecycle and architecture. Schneider Electric connected products embed IEC 62443 security functions by design, since any product developed by Schneider Electric is following our secure development lifecycle process. Schneider Electric Product Security Office is in charge of certifying that all Schneider Electric products and services are developed according to the secure development lifecycle process. Machine data is provided by our connected devices and sensors and collected by Schneider Electric Gateway. All Schneider Electric Gateway follow an enrollment process before sending data to a Schneider Electric Cloud platform. In addition to that, Schneider Electric gateways send data encrypted, using only secure protocols and only execute signet software and firmware. The Schneider Electric Cloud platform leverages security features and capabilities powered by Microsoft Azure, and all user data is segregated using access control lists. The Schneider Electric Connected Service Hub monitors and reviews the results of our algorithms and analytics on the collected asset data, and provides customer proactive maintenance recommendations. At the same time, customers can securely access customers' post-start dashboard to review the health of their critical assets. This is one example of security control implemented for a Schneider Electric gateway. The security control is firmware integrity and authentication for IoT devices. The objective is to ensure that the IoT device only executes firmware developed by Schneider Electric, and mechanisms are implemented to avoid the firmware being modified by a non-authorized party. Public key infrastructure technology is used to implement this control. Public and private encryption keys are used to certify the authenticity of the firmware before its installation. The security control is mandatory for security level 1 according IEC 62443 standard. Now, I will explain some security controls that are implemented for Asset Advisor as part of the IoT control area. TH110 and CL110 Zigbee sensors send encrypted data using 128-bit key. Data is transmitted to Schneider Electric Zigbee concentrators, and all asset data is collected by Schneider Electric Gateway. The Schneider Electric Gateway isolates local OT network and IT network and to its embedded firewall. Other security controls implemented in the gateway are management only through secure protocols and the device unique ID for cloud enrollment. Only outbound connections are allowed, not being possible to establish a connection to the OT network from outside. No data is accepted by a Schneider Electric Cloud platform if the IoT device has not been previously enrolled. Enrollment requires verification of the device unique ID previously set in the IoT device during manufacturing. Data is transmitted encrypted from site to cloud using secure communication protocol. Schneider Electric Digital Organization is in charge of certifying that all Schneider Electric digital offers are implementing the mandatory IoT security controls and policies. And now, I will explain some security controls implemented to protect Schneider Electric Cloud infrastructure as part of our IoT security control area. Virtual machines are implemented on top of Microsoft Azure cloud infrastructure, and multi-tenancy is used to isolate data from different Schneider Electric digital offers. Redundancy of critical assets is in place to ensure high availability of the digital service. Only secure protocols like TLS 1.2 are allowed to send data to cloud, and Microsoft Azure security features are leveraged to protect the cloud infrastructure. Centralized logging of system events, Azure KPIs, and application events real-time monitoring is in place to ensure detection and analysis of anomalous events and alerts. Customer data is segregated and isolated using access control lists. Access from customer side to a Schneider Electric customer dashboard is protected using role-based access control mechanism. Login and password are sent encrypted, and web and mobile applications are regularly pen tested to ensure that vulnerabilities are detected and fixed in a reasonable time. A Schneider Electric Digital Organization is in charge of certifying that all Schneider Electric digital offers are implementing the mandatory IT security controls and policies. Finally, this is a summary of the main security controls implemented in Asset Advisor to protect our customer data and infrastructure. Data is collected using standard protocols and encrypted and secure communications. Schneider Electric Gateway implement strong security features and push data to cloud, allowing only outbound communication and blocking any attempt to remotely control OT devices from outside. Data is transmitted to cloud encrypted and using secure protocols. Any IoT device trying to send data to a Schneider Electric cloud need to follow enrollment process first. Schneider Electric Cloud Platform is built on top of Microsoft Azure Cloud Infrastructure, which is certified by ISO and by the Cloud Security Alliance. Cloud infrastructure is used by Schneider Electric Connected Service Hub to provide our digital service to customers. Cloud infrastructure is monitored real-time and protected against malicious attack, leveraging Microsoft Azure security features. Schneider Electric dashboards are accessible only after strong authorization control, and all personal data is protected and managed according to GDPR. Schneider Electric Data Privacy Office lead a dedicated compliance and control implementation to ensure that all Schneider Electric digital offers are managing personal data according to GDPR and other applicable regulations. I hope your questions are answered now, Luis.
Thanks, Antonio, for sharing how we make our remote monitoring solutions secure and reliable. I see that as advisor is just one of the services we have to help customer to implement a predictive maintenance strategy based on real-time data coming from connected products, as you clearly mentioned, all the time, secure and reliable. So in case that you want to know more about Asset Advisor, you can, or you are interested in this offer, you can contact your local sales representative. So they will hand over most information on you and they will help you to implement this solution in your installation. Now, in the following section, I would like to invite my colleague Dinesh Chandani, who is our senior cybersecurity consultant for India, to explore what other solutions we have to protect critical infrastructure from cybersecurity vulnerabilities. So, Dinesh, can you share with us what options do we have to secure OT and IT systems?
Yes, Louis, thank you. So am I audible?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So before we start discussing the cybersecurity solutions, it is important that we understand the fundamental difference between an OT and an IT environment. We see that unlike a traditional IT environment, OT is very heterogeneous, comprising of lot many proprietary protocols, legacy devices, softwares for multiple vendors, and OS. And at the same time, the context of continuity and reliable operations is of utmost importance as compared to the confidentiality of the data. OT systems cannot be patched at a regular interval and not even without qualifying them for a production environment. So in short, we should understand that OT environment is quite complex to manage and at the same time face a higher risk as compared to an IT environment. But unfortunately, what we see today is cybersecurity is not given a priority while designing the industrial control systems. It may be it has been seen that it may be due to the fact that it is seen as a cost enabler instead of a business enabler, or being dug down by some common myths or the wrong beliefs, which needs to be understood and clarified before we define what could be the cybersecurity strategy that could be applied. So, see, critical infrastructure owners generally believe that their facility is safe or it could not be a target since it is not connected to an internet. Or once they have put in firewalls in place, they have secured their network from any external threats. In fact, this is not right. We need to understand that none of the traditional industrial control systems were designed keeping security into the perspective. And we see that studies have shown that majority of security incidents on critical infrastructure systems have been associated with the behavior of the people, which could be unintentional, but have been done by some malicious have come up from the due to individual errors. It could be due to the poor configurations, network configurations, weak password policies, connecting a malicious USB key, or an administrative lack of training. into the network to collect the data for some purposes. So it is need to be understood that in case you are an air gapped, it is not a safe environment because of the wrong policies or the practices that are being followed. Another common myth is hackers won't don't understand the OT environment. They are more tuned in for an IT environment, but this is not true. Again, not true. It is to be noted that SCADA and process control systems are today a heart of any industrial applications or monitoring solutions processes, and they are a common topics at hackers black hat conferences. Cybercrime today is a very lucrative business financially, with zero-day exploits selling to organized crimes for as much as $80,000 per exploit. Moreover, if we see all the major known attacks in a public forum, like Ukrainian grid attack or a stuckness attack on Iranian nuclear plant, and many more, all these have been targeted attacks which have been compromised the ICS systems to destroy the availability or the critical infrastructure of any nation. So again, there is a third or a common myth is that when we have security products in our portfolio, then why do we need a separate cybersecurity services? So why can't we just turn on the cybersecurity services, security features in a secure products and get our infrastructure secure? Yes, having a security product, security built into the products is important, but it does not address the security requirements completely in an integrated environment. A service-led approach considers a full life cycle of the cybersecurity in context of people, process, and technology necessary to adequately protect an industrial control systems. So Schneider Electric is committed to offer an end-to-end security solutions across our EcoStruxure architecture through our internal process of product development, the partners that we choose to work with, and the services that we deliver to secure our customer OT space across all business types and industries. So, as a first step to design an effective security program, it is required to identify the vulnerabilities and the associated threats that an infrastructure could be exposed to. Because an effective cybersecurity program can aptly be designed if the owner understands the critical processes and the associated risk. So, our highly skilled cybersecurity consultants can help you to assess and review your systems to detect gaps, identify the associated risk, uncover any security malpractices, and assess the staff security competencies to provide recommendations for an effective design and implementation of security controls customized to meet the needs of your organization. So within these four categories, there are a number of security technologies that can be implemented as a defense in depth approach depending on the level of protection you need. While some of the elements may be absolutely essential, but most of the organization don't need all of these. So it is important to match the right level of protection to the level of risk or to meet the regulatory compliance. We can map all our products and offers to comply to various international and national standards and frameworks. However, as an organization, globally, we have selected IC 62443 as a core cybersecurity standard for our OT systems and ISO 27000 for our all cloud connected offers. So if we drill down into part 3 of 62443, it defines the system security requirements and security levels based on the associated threats through an infrastructure. It highlights four different security levels, where from security assurance level 1 to 4, wherein level 1 refers to a basic protection for from an unintentional violations, while level 3 and 4 refers to a protection against more of a targeted attacks from a hacking groups or a state-sponsored attackers. So a customer can also choose to implement security controls based on the level of compliance required as per the standard. So this slide, if you see, a security program that complemented their operations as well as prevented the downtime. The highlights of our solution offering, if I try to give you a brief, begin with zoning the gaps of the legacy equipments, mitigating each threats through the configuration of conduits, and by upgrading the old and obsolete Windows machines that were no longer supported. Another challenge was to comply to 62443 level part 2-4, which mandated 24 cross 7 monitoring of the network. So with our anomaly based detection offer, we were able to provide a continuous monitoring of OT and the network assets, also providing a real time reporting of the security events. We also established a 24 cross 7 a service desk to offer an incident response, a forensic investigation, and also to support all IT and OT security operations. We kept the training program for our clients on a regular basis to ensure that they have a right level of awareness, cybersecurity awareness, which was one of the foremost condition when dealing with the control systems. So we see that Schneider Electric recognized the importance of cybersecurity quite early and developed a dynamic ecosystem of partnerships, platforms, and suppliers to produce a holistic cybersecurity offerings. We have rapidly growing global team of highly skilled and certified cybersecurity professionals focused on delivering vendor agnostic security solutions and services across industries. What differentiates us from is the fact that we understand and apply cybersecurity solutions from an operations perspective while integrating the appropriate IT policies and requirements. We also have a quick reaction team ready to help our customers to act quickly in case of a cyber attack and to assess potential damages and recover from operations as soon as possible. We have been a founding member of I6 Security Global Alliance, created to bring together the end user companies, the technology system vendors, IT infrastructure vendors, and system integrators to proactively address the growing and emerging cyber threats. So to summarize, today we see that it is no longer a question of competitive advantage or minimizing the damage. Cybersecurity today is a fundamental requirement of doing business, and we must integrate all our design processes considering cybersecurity into the design considerations. So I hope that answers your question, Louis.
Yeah, that's pretty much good. The edge, I really got the overall and complete offer we have when it comes to cybersecurity for IT and OT systems. So thank for that. So in this point, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open the Q&A session. So as mentioned at the beginning, please post your questions in the chat box that should be in the right-hand side of your screen. So we will start this session by reading them.
So, Louis, I think I'll help out. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Yep. Okay, great. I think I'll help out by just reading out some of the questions that have already been posted in the chat.
That's good.
And then the panels. Okay, fantastic. So the first question is from Mr. Alam. Mr. Alam is asking, says, good initiative by Schneider, well-organized learning session. Can I have the presentation, please? So where can he find the presentation after this?
Great. So right after this call, we will be sending some email to all the participants where you will be able to find a recorded session that we are having today. So you can go again through all the presentation through using that email.
Okay. And the next question is for Antonio. Antonio, how do you provide health monitoring and what all assets do you monitor?
Yes, thanks for the question. We provide to our customer in the information of the health of their electrical distribution and secure power and cooling assets using our dashboard, which are accessible through web application and through mobile application.
Okay. And the next question is from VM. I'm planning to have a new SCADA and asset monitoring system. What are the steps should I take to ensure that all the project and systems are cyber secure?
Okay. To answer that question, there are two ways. Either you can start with understanding what are the vulnerabilities or the threats that your infrastructure could be exposed to, and then plan an appropriate cybersecurity strategy. Or otherwise, there is the 62443 standard, which is well exhaustive in terms of highlighting the requirements when you procure a system, what are the security levels you require in terms of when you procure the devices or the products from the OEMs? What are the security controls that you might require when you are integrating into an overall infrastructure? And as an organization offering both these activities as a secure OEM provider, what are the security practices they follow while developing the security practices? And you can also spec in, you include in your specification the respective clauses with respect to the technologies and the sections, which can help you to define a security strategy for all the systems that you procure.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dinesh. And we have a question on COMEX from Kapila Mehta. We said that there is one-way communication only from COMEX to cloud. We do have bidirectional communication, right?
Yes, we have bidirectional communication. This is not let's say that the COMEX is acting as a firewall, but not as a data IO. Okay, what I wanted to explain in the slide, and that connections are only allowed from outbound. Okay, so sorry, from inbound. Okay, so it's not possible to establish an outbound connection to the OT network. That is what is one way, the connections. Okay, but the communication is bidirectional. You're right.
Okay, there's another question from Kishore Bardwaj. Hi, Antonio. While providing the above services, the sensors already available in field can be utilized by Schneider Electric?
It depends on the sensor. Okay, so here my suggestion is that you check with your sales representative what your sensors do you have already on field. Okay, and he will be able to check if this can be utilized for asset advice. Okay, anyway, even if we are not able to reuse that sensors, we are interested in knowing, okay, because we have ambitions in our roadmap to incorporate more and more devices to our asset advisor solution. Okay, so just raise the question to your sales representative, explain then which sensors do you already have in field, and we will answer you if we can integrate or not. And in case we not, we will analyze the feasibility to incorporate that in the future.
Okay. And this question from Kishore is to Dinesh. Dinesh, how do you determine that in a particular plant, what's the appropriate level of 62443 that needs to be attained? Are there any guidelines that you can provide?
Okay. Thanks for that question. I think I mentioned it in my slide, but to be more elaborate, there are 4 levels which are defined in 62443. So 62443 is quite complex to be understood, but the standard has done is it has defined 4 security assurance level based on the risk that you see your infrastructure could be exposed to. So, for example, security assurance level 1 includes the basic security controls, which prevents any casual or unintentional attacks from your employees or suppliers due to secure policies and practices and secure configuration practices. So during the integration or installation, they follow secure practices and policies. Appropriate security controls are in place to prevent any insider threats. Similarly, as we go up to security level 2, it prevents any cyber criminal attack from a casual hacking groups which are there in the with the more small motivation just to prove their capabilities. Similarly, 3 and 4 becomes more defense in depth approach, adding more levels of security controls to prevent from more of a targeted attacks, which could be from a specified hacking group or it could be from the state sponsored attackers. So it is important to draw a journey. If you are just starting it, it is better to assess the risk posture of your infrastructure and define which security assurance level you want to target to and get your system assessed at a regular interval so that you maintain that level at every period of time.
Right.
All right, fantastic. And we've got one last question from Navodita Kandari. Mr. Kandari asks, my question is with respect to IEC 62443. If a manufacturer does not have certification under 62443, but promises to have secured systems by using appropriate firewalls, secure design, etc., can they be believed to be at par with the IEC 62443 with a IEC 62443 secured system?
Okay. So there are 2 parts to it. One is delivering the cybersecurity services which may not be certified from a vendor side, but the products that have been offered by them should be complied to 62443 or any recommended standards. For example, at Schneider Electric, all our products and portfolio elements are certified with level 2, ACLES level 1 or ACLES level 2 certification. We as an OEM follow a secure development lifecycle processes during our all product development lifecycle for all our products, and we have certified development centers which follow the secure development lifecycle. But again, if the secure integration activity is happening with respect to firewalls and other security controls, it is important that it might be believed that they are at par with 62443 security system, but it is important for you to get it assessed or the system assessed after every frequent intervals, maybe on an annual basis or biannually, to keep the systems updated and secured at the same time. So
Excellent
assessment,
answer. Oh, sorry,
assessing
I
the
interrupted.
substation at a regular level is also important.
All right, fantastic. Great answer, Dinesh. Thank you very much. Apologies for interrupting at the end there. Lewis, I believe that was the last question, so back over to you, sir.
Thanks, Alden. Thanks. So, okay, if there is no more questions, I think that we can close this session. So, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules to attend this webinar. We hope you now have insight to how to fortify your remote management system. If you have more questions or want to have a meeting to discuss about these services, please do not hesitate to contact your local Schneider Electric representative. In closing, we don't know when this war against COVID-19 will end. Without questions, remote management of your assets continued and the threat of cyber attack is there to battle as much as sport. Superior technology, information advantages, and the right allies are important keys to success. Good news is that you are not alone in this fight. Schneider Electric will always be there by your side to support your business. So thanks everyone. Have a good rest of the day. And before we leave this session, I invite you for the next webinar we are having on July 22nd on arc flash safety. So here I post a QR code that you can easily scan to register your participation there. Thank you and have a good rest of the day.